What's going on, guys? My name is Pwn, and I felt like doing kind of a real talk because it's something that's definitely overdue, something that's been on my mind for a while. And it wasn't until the drama yesterday with level cap that I felt like finally addressing it. And it's really not the easiest thing in the world, but I wanted to give an explanation, also step up and accept the responsibility, and just admit that I know a lot of the things that's been going wrong with my channel is not your fault. You guys have been amazing. It's solely my fault. Had I have known what would have happened, I would have never done that stuff, obviously. But I made mistakes just like everybody does. But it's something I wanted to talk about, is some of the mistakes I've made on YouTube so far, at the hopes that not only do you guys kind of understand where I was coming from, why I did some of those, not only that, the consequences of those decisions, at the hopes that some of you guys that may be, aspiring commentators or something like that, may not make the same mistakes that I did, and can help you become better at YouTube. So, where we're at right now is, you guys know how I started, so we're going to skip ahead to when Battlefield 3 beta came out. This is when everything in my life changed, and this is where I made the first bold move with my YouTube career. I was fed up with Call of Duty to the sense that they released Modern Warfare 3, and it was the biggest heap and pile of shit I have ever seen in my life. It was the worst game I've ever seen, with the death streaks. They had a couple nice ideas in it, specialists and stuff like that. There was some cool stuff in it. But I couldn't tolerate playing that game after a month because it was just seriously unplayable. It was too broken in my mind. And I had to find something else to do, because it was either A, quit YouTube, which was great for me, because there was no way I could keep doing that. I was breaking controllers, I was getting pissed, it was affecting me emotionally to the extent beyond stress and responsibility. It was like, I want to fucking break shit. You see this hole in the wall, guys. You know exactly how it gets for me. So I hated that. And the people were like, why do you take it so seriously, guys? The reason it's taken seriously is because as much as I like YouTube to be a hobby to me, it is also responsibility. You still have a quota. You still need to get videos and keep up with things, and consistency is important, which is also one thing that I really need to explain in this video. So MW3 fell through. I didn't like it, and at that point I'm like, let me try Battlefield out. I gave Battlefield a try, fell in love with it. Still to this day, love Battlefield 3. There are things about it I do not like, things I wish changed, but at the end of the day, it's still a great game. There's no such thing as a perfect shooter. It's not going to happen. It does not say exist. So, I went through, I made the transition, which was a big gamble. I was not only jeopardizing, possibly upsetting my fan base, but crippling my channel to the point where I would have to quit. I wasn't sure whether or not. This giant gamble, jumping into a community that was relatively non-existent. There were about 3 commentators coming into Battlefield 3 that had maybe 10k subs, and that was Shibby2142, Sergeant Enigma, and Thready. There was no level cap at the time, there was no Chaboy, there's none of that stuff. This was a fresh paved area. Nobody was doing anything. But at the time, I had 100,000, 120,000 subscribers. I was in the Call of Duty fan base, and things were influenced a little bit harder back then. It wasn't so saturated with so many people trying to be YouTubers nowadays. I had a feeling that if I transferred over, it would bring renewed interest into the game, and a lot of Call of Duty players would actually enjoy Battlefield as it being a fresh change of pace, because you had Woody's Gamertag, X-Jaws, and everybody else doing COD. So I felt that it would be a reasonable gamble to try to completely transfer the direction of my channel. And it worked out. At first, it didn't. For the first couple months, things were rough. The views were a fourth of what they used to be. Similar to how it is right now, because of the goal that I switched on my main channel from from Battlefield to Minecraft. And now Battlefield is currently back on this channel. So the situation was, it was a big gamble, but I had to do it because I wasn't happy with where I was. Eventually, it paid off. Battlefield 3, some of my videos hit big. I was getting 300,000 views on, my M98B video and all this other stuff. I was pulling in all the subscribers. Again, this was because there was nobody else out doing there. I was at 150,000 subscribers, getting 50,000 views a vid, and there was nobody else out there to compete with me. I was king of Battlefield at that time, and I was on the top. And I didn't really let it get to my head. It's just, I just didn't I didn't understand that being on the top means there's less room to grow, but more to fail. You have that responsibility of retaining that level of awesome, and you're near the top, which means the only way you can really progressively go is down. So what happened is everything was great. I met a few people, hung out a lot. The journey was great. I was used quite a bit to get a little bit of exposure from some other commentators, which was okay with me because, well, at the end of the day, I'm helping other people's lives, and that's technically what one of my main motivations of YouTube was, is I liked to entertain other people. I liked to help out other people. It was just kind of one of my goals. It makes me feel, but I get satisfaction. My reward is knowing that I made a difference to somebody else. So that's kind of like, oh, why do you do all these things to help all these people out? I'm like, I'm also doing it for me because it feels good to know you made a difference. So we'll skip past that. We're going to cut into something that I did, and this was probably the worst decision I've ever made, and they were back-to-back, too. My wife was pregnant. We found out. Some of you guys may remember that. Those guys that have stuck with me, brave soldiers. My wife was pregnant. Things were changing. I was panicked. I wasn't sure what to do. Life was doing okay for me. Actually, it was doing damn good. I guess after taxes, I was making around $5 or $6 grand a month, which is easily sustainable for a family and a child, and have a lot of extra money to save up and put them in college or something, which is what I started to do. But I started to worry. I went from being casual gamer and this was all a hobby. That's what made me funny. That's what made me me, is because I did it for the fun. I didn't do it for the money. I didn't worry about putting tags on videos and trying to get the most views. I just put shit out, and for some odd reason, you guys liked it. My mistake was turning YouTube into a job, which is something you have to do now. Back then, it wasn't mandatory, but it was that way because I'm like, I need to make money because I want the best for my son. So what happened is, in the weirdest way, my son motivated me in a way to take my channel in a different direction, my unborn son at the time. And I started putting out 70, 80 videos a week, or not a week, a month. And I started grinding out, pumping out these videos, and these were getting 30, 50,000 views every video, and this is what people were expecting of me. Come time, I was playing so much, Battlefield becomes a responsibility. Now, when your job, when your livelihood, and when your money is influenced by the fact that you have to get successful, decent enough gameplay in a room full of people only using M16s, or you're playing Call of Duty and everybody's noob tubing, when your entertainment, when the backdrop, the video is so heavily influenced by how other people are playing in the game, it gets very stressful. Gaming at that point became less of a hobby, more of a responsibility, and that's kind of what put the first nail in the coffin for my channel. What happened at that point was basically everything started to fall apart. Everything became unstructured. It became a gamble. It became risky. And I put out all these videos. At one point around that time, I decided I couldn't do it anymore because I put too much responsibility on myself, too much stress, and I was depressed and unhappy. And I didn't know that I had made a mistake yet, but I decided to quit Battlefield because just like I did that, I mean, what I really wanted to say is I wanted to take a break, but I was afraid that if I took a month or two break and I'd come back, my channel would be basically dead. People would replace me and find somebody else. So what I did is around December time, when my wife was near the end of her pregnancy, I went from making 70 videos a month to making 12 in December. So I did effectively do exactly what I thought I shouldn't do, and that was limit my activity. So at this point, this is where I want to encourage you other commentators out there to pay attention. If you ever start bursting out 40 videos a week, you better keep it at 40 videos a week until you stop YouTube. Consistency is extremely important. I was basically the only really big commentator out there. No one was even close to me at this time. People came to me for Battlefield content. At the time, I was the Cha Boy or the level cap. That's kind of what happened. In December, when I basically posted no videos compared to what I was used to, people were missing that. There was a void in the community where people stopped watching me and was like, well, man, I miss my Battlefield. I want to go watch somebody else. And then people stumbled across people like Doom and Level Cap and something like this. They fell in love with them, and they realized that they didn't need Pwn anymore, which makes sense. Did I know this was going to happen? No, but it was my first big mistake on YouTube, and that was dropping off from what was promised to you guys. When somebody gets something so routinely, they expect it. Like, seriously, if you wake up every day for a year straight and your wife makes you pancakes, and then all of a sudden for a month straight she doesn't do it, you're going to want pancakes somewhere else, right? You know what I'm saying? That's right. So that's kind of what happened, and I didn't foresee that happening. I really thought, I had the momentum. I thought I was on top of the world. I thought you guys would understand because it was the holidays. I thought you guys maybe wouldn't be watching as much because you'd be spending time with your family, but that wasn't it. Do I regret doing that at all? No. I understand why it fell apart, but I wanted to spend time with my family, enjoy the last month or so of pregnancy with my wife, and be there for them. And it was easily worth the sacrifice, but people didn't understand that from that time, and I can't blame them because they were wanting that content, so they found it elsewhere. And at that point, you know, when I came back in, started posting again in January, a couple things fell apart. First of which, the plan that Machinima had at the time fell apart. I was instantly making like $1,000 less than I used to, which was a big hit to me. And then I come back and I'm getting 20,000 views a video or something. So now I'm getting about half the views I used to, and I'm like, why did this happen? And then I realized I went kind of inactive in December. And then I noticed all these other guys were picking up subscribers and views, and I'm like, they relocated, you motherfuckers. You migrated. And then I realized it was all my fault. And then I felt guilty. I felt like something was wrong, and I felt like I needed to grind and get back up. And this is what birthed the biggest problem that I've had to date with my channel, and that's the lack of structure, the inconsistency. I was so used to being where I was comfortable, I was happy knowing I could pay for my child's education, I had money put back in a savings account for him. Now I'm basically not able to save any money anymore, and we're, at this point, barely getting by. This really hurt me a lot. I felt like my son's on the way. I did so much to prepare for this, and I felt like I was going to fail not only as a father, but as a husband. I was already sacrificing 80 hours a week to do this, but it allowed us to have decent enough money for us to go do things that we couldn't have been able to do before, and it kind of compensated. Now, I still had hardly any time with my family, but I brought home the stress from work with me. I came home dealing with all of the stress, feeling like I'm letting my family down, and above all, I'm scrambling to come up with ideas. So that's what I began doing. I began trying to pump out all these ideas for shows, all these other things, changing things up, doing different things, and it was struggle. I wanted to hit it big in something to get back to where I was, hoping that some of these ideas would pay off, not knowing that I tried them for a week and dropped them because they weren't getting the kind of results that I wanted. And then I didn't know what I was doing. And what I was doing is I was basically killing structure, killing stability for my channel. And I did not know that I was effectively killing it. Like, I just was hoping for that one big thing. If I tried 100 little things, maybe one of them would hit big, instead of starting one or two small things and waiting for a month or two in the hopes that it does turn into something, because with a little bit of momentum, it probably would have. But I wanted results then. I was tired of letting my family down. I felt guilty and responsible that I was not able to go to bed every night with my wife. I was upset that I was no longer to save money for my son's future education. I was really in a funk. I was at the peak of my depression level. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any guidance. There's no real handbook for how to do YouTube. Because up to date, like I said, it was always a hobby. I didn't know, like, take it or treat it as a professional business, like people like Level Cap or Witty's Gamer Tag. This is a career for them, and I was just the guy that liked to make people laugh, and I wasn't prepared for the business side of YouTube. So the business side of YouTube came through, and now I understood, because I could carelessly just post videos, entertain people, and make good money. Now I was thinking, my mind wasn't in the game, it wasn't natural, it wasn't about the hobby anymore, it was about how I could make money. So then it transferred from just being fun and entertaining, just being a hobby, and it was forced into, we need to make money to pay for bills and raise my family. And at that point, it switched the motivation of my channel and really hurt it a lot. That's where all the struggling came in. That's where all the inconsistency. That's where I stopped shows, started shows, stopped shows, started shows, quit Battlefield again. And after all of that, that's why a lot of the subscribers left. So it's entirely my fault why my channel is in the funk that it is right now. And it took so long for me to recognize that I'm the one hurting my channel. That, you know, I always wondered, I'm like, I see these guys out there, commentators, they used to love me more than them, but now they're being more popular. And I'm like, what am I doing? I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. And from the inside out, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm doing everything. I'm still putting the same amount of time into it. I'm putting the same amount of effort. What's different? I couldn't see that my content was not as good as it used to be. I could not see that I was clouded by having to crank out stuff trying to do it. I couldn't see that you guys were getting upset because I would start things and stop things. I couldn't see it. I was blind to it. Actually, there are certain things you just can't see, and there's no way to know something's going wrong. So inconsistency was the first thing. When that December was what really hurt, because people were able to find and access other commentators, and it was a big problem right there. I had no clue it would have the issues that it came with. And then since then, I've been trying to grind back up. I tried Battlefield again, and I was just seriously tired. And the reason I honestly quit Battlefield was because I wasn't making enough money for it to sustain me, like our family, my life, or anything like that. So what happened is, I'm like, I can't keep spending 80 hours a week, putting in double what somebody would be doing and getting what a minimum wage person would be making at 40 hours a week. I was putting in double the work and making what somebody at McDonald's or just a standard average wage job could make in half the time I'm putting in. So I was like, I'm not going to keep forcing myself to play Battlefield, a game that can frustrate me. And instead of finding alternatives, instead of asking for help, like when the first time I quit Battlefield was a big problem because a lot of people looked at it as if I was turning my back on the community, the people that I loved, and they didn't understand that I was doing it because I was just so stressed and depressed I couldn't keep doing it, man. I actually just wanted to close my channel and never look back. The only reason I stayed is because the responsibility I felt I have for you guys, the fact that I don't know, I feel kind of responsible for the viewers. I've given you guys entertainment, and I feel like I have this debt to pay to you guys. It's weird, which is exactly why I brought Battlefield back on this channel. We had a charity stream a couple weeks ago, and on that I had 6 hours to talk to you guys, and a lot of you guys like, Pwn, just bring it back. I don't care if it's just one video a month. I miss your Battlefield stuff. And I'm like, I understand it. So I can understand why people unsubscribe thinking I betrayed the community. I can understand all of that stuff, and I take full responsibility for all of it. Nobody hurt my channel but me. And now it's trying to prove people that I can change it. Now it's trying to prove the doubters wrong. All these other people do not know that I'm actually trying to get back on the horse. I mean, I can't promise Battlefield to be back to how it was. Honestly, it would come down to financials until it gets to the point where I can actually carelessly post again and make great content, not have to worry about money, that Battlefield won't be full-time again. I can promise that I can take a few hours out of my week to get you guys an extra couple videos, but that's all I can do. But I have to try to prove that people can trust me again, that people can be along for the ride. I've been trying to start shows. I figure Minecraft's been running so long, people are seeing a bit of consistency on that channel. I've not missed a Saturday episode of Aggressive Recon yet, I don't believe. And it's all pulling together. I'm trying to basically bring my channel back with new ideas, new shows. I'm hoping Battlefield 4 will let those people that actually left my channel know that he is actually back and he's ready to do this again. And I have a lot of regrets in my life. I don't regret anything that I've done because I felt like that was the right thing to do at the time. If you actually had the emotion and the guilt and the depression that I had, you would have understood every decision I made. But I did it without knowing the consequences. Had I have known the consequences beforehand, I would have sat through all of that. I was just afraid that, it was just so many things. The feeling that you're making less money, the feeling that you're letting your family down is the most discouraging feeling in the world. It clouds your judgment, clouds your mind. It's so hard to stay focused when you feel like you're letting down the things that mean most to you. So for the last 6 months, 8 months after that December happened, everything started going downhill, and I didn't know how to do it. I lost the structure. I lost the support. I lost you guys. I lost your trust. And there's nobody to blame but me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, give you guys kind of a real talk to let you guys know, if you do YouTube, you need to stay consistent. You need to keep doing what you need to do. You can bring other things in, but don't crush what you're originally doing. Now that Battlefield's back, it's going to stay back. I'm going to do it big. I'm going to give you guys gun reviews. I'm going to teach you guys how to play the thing. I'm going to be energetic. I'm going to bring back poopy gun loadouts. I'm bringing back I Pick You Choose. All that shit's coming back. And I'm going to do me. I'm going to do it how it used to be. Because now YouTube is officially not my job anymore. I make some money from it, but it's not enough to sustain me. I've got this as a part-time job and another part-time job. And I'm going to have fun doing this, which is part of why I brought Minecraft in. I felt like if I'm not making the money I need to, I'm going to do something that I would rather do than that. Not saying I don't like Battlefield or I don't love or feel like I'm a part of the community. I'm just saying I'd rather just run around and do random shit and get no money for it than have to grind out and deal with M16s and play 30-minute games and hopefully they're good enough. It was just so time-consuming. And I didn't like the fact that FPSs were a responsibility. I used to play shooters to relieve stress. Mom, I had a bad relationship at home and everything like that. I used to just dive right into video games to forget about all the shit at school and mom and problems and issues. I don't have that anymore. I don't have that stress relief, and I don't have the time to relieve stress anymore. So I just wanted to share that kind of story with you guys. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm sorry for anything that I have done. I want to thank you guys that have stuck along with me, hoping and keeping faith that I could actually turn this around and become something good again. If that is to happen, and we can actually revive what I've done. It's going to come down to you guys. It's going to come down to the support that you guys can give. I can tag the videos, I can work on the videos, I can put all the effort in the world I put into them, and I promise you, I put myself in 110%. But at the end of the day, no channel gets anywhere without support. Extra tweeting, extra sharing, have you seen this guy, liking, favoriting, commenting, all that stuff impacts the channel and its growth. So if you guys really do want to help out and you want to try to ease this and try to get this thing back on track, that's what you can do to help out. I know a lot of people are like, can we donate to help? I don't want your donations. You earn your own money. I want to earn mine. I'm putting in the same amount of effort, but you guys can slightly help by doing all of those things I listed. But anyways, that's the end of this video. I felt like talking about it because a lot of people are always trying to make fun of me about my channel dying and level cap leaving me and all this stuff, and they don't understand. And that's what this is. I don't care when people try to piss me off on the internet because it's the internet. So I felt like there was a bit of an explanation as well as acknowledging what went wrong, and letting you guys know kind of why. I mean, it doesn't justify doing it. I mean, it kind of does, but understanding why I did it may help you guys understand a little more. I mean, obviously the people that have already left obviously want nothing to do with me. If they come back, they do. If they don't, I don't care. This is a fresh start for me. That's what I'm taking this as. That's why the Minecraft and the Gary's Mod and the horror stuff is on my main channel, because I want that to be my priority. That's what I want to grow my channel off. I want to be big on indie game. I want it to be on just being a goofy guy over there. I brought FPS back solely for you guys. Not that I wanted to, but it was because you guys wanted it, and because I've promised that for you guys for almost 4 years now, and it was wrong of me to take it away. And it was just something I acted on, what I thought was right, and what would relieve stress and tension from my life. So if there's any of you guys I upset or let down or anything like that, I do apologize. I know a lot of you guys look up to some commentators and really expect content from them daily and as a part of your essential life. And that's, I guess, the end of this real talk. So I know it's a little longer, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. So like I said, look forward to some videos. I'm currently going to try to achieve shit bucket. I'm like just a little bit off. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter